Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, still give us chance and bless so we can attend in this event. And then salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Honorable, all of the participants in the seminar. I am Fatma Muriza from the UNP. I am here to explain about my paper in the seminar, an international conference on English language and teaching, ICOELT 10, in collaboration with English language teaching and research seminar by theme reflecting on online and technology-based English language teaching and research. Now, we are going to the next. My title here is Improving Students' Reading Comprehension by Using Extensive Reading. In this part, I have divided for the 7 topic here: introduction, related theories, method, result, discussion, conclusion, and references. We talk about the introduction. In Japanese, it is Yamato et al. 2014, and Hayashi also in 1999. In the Japanese also, reading frequently helps children build a firm foundation of knowledge, identify terms, have a strong desire to read more, reading and helpful for reinforcing vocabulary knowledge in learners. And then O'Neill 2012 say that reading can aid students in learning more and expanding their knowledge on a variety of topics. In Japan also, they have one program that is of extensive reading, made good progress from the 400 of these departments, about 1,070 and 719 undergraduate students are in the English language and literature program. This is have increase of the student in this program. Also, in this research come from the insight of the researchers. It relates with the previous research. It's from the Caroline Subramanian, Al-Zubi, Khan, Apian, Al-Qadi, and also from Lee. From them, I can say that there's many benefit from the extensive reading itself. Caroline said that extensive reading improved the reading comprehension of the students, and then Subramanian of Jaina 2018, extensive reading increased vocabulary, and also from Al-Ju'bi 2013, extensive reading increased the grammatical skills of English foreign language, and then from the Tan and Fee in 2021, extensive reading improved reading ability from the student, and also from the Al-Qadi and Al-Qadi 2013, extensive reading increased grammatical accuracy, and also from the Lee 2014, extensive reading increased literacy development. This some of the researchers have done in this topic is talk about the extensive reading. In the relative theory here, we talk about the reading comprehension. Kinder et al. 2007 said that the reading comprehension is reading with the intent to comprehend, appreciate, or understand. And from the Robertson 2017, reading comprehension is the process of simultaneously drawing meaning from a text, developing that meaning, and analyzing its content and context. And also from the Robel et al. 2012, she said that reading comprehension is the ability to understand written materials in which texts have meaning and context-sensitive language is used. And the last one from the Noonan 1991, reading comprehension is the capacity to combine a text with the assumption that the reader had prior information. And the next is talk about the extensive reading. Here there are 6 at least about the extensive reading. The first one is extensive reading is to read a large amount of a simple text at the own leisure outside of the classroom. And then Extensive reading is to read a large amount of simple text at their own leisure outside of the classroom. And then extensive reading is any book they choose to read it out. To read is up to them. It means that they can search wherever they are, they can read wherever they are, and then they can read whatever they want. And then extensive reading also is a reading material, not based on their heart, but it's a material unappealing. They are recommended to return them and discover something different. And then also, in extensive reading, student must read text they can grasp even if they have trouble understanding every word in order to intensive reading program to be effective. And the last one is intensive reading is reading a lot of books without placing too much of emphasis on text comprehension assignment in class is referred or as extensive reading. It means that we give them whatever they want, or we give them all of their source of the books. They can choose them, and then we don't need to get their comprehension directly from the text after they read the text. So we can take from the comprehension by the some step. I will explain later on. And then there are three important rules in extensive reading. The first one is rules. The first rules is enjoy your reading, and then the second is enjoy your reading, and the third one is enjoy your reading. It's from the Nikolaki and Jeffers 2007. Also here, she said that extensive reading is the most efficient way to help students change old habit and become confident second language readers. Also from the Rob and Cannon 2013, uh, extensive reading is a method of teaching languages in which students are provided with a substantial amount of easily understandable reading materials in the target language. Because, as I said before, that the teacher maybe or the mentor can give them many sources of the book, even though it's an ebook or many kind of the book. Okay, next. We can say that the extensive reading is they can choose the reading material they use, and then they can read independently of the teacher. I mean that's without the teacher. If they find the content too difficult, they should put the book down. To understand a target text in its entirety. It can be a book, long article, essay, magazine, newspaper, journal, textbook, or etc. And also, I think it's interesting when I say from the Nuran, this has said that extensive reading at the same time. We can say that extensive reading is a reading by the self-selecting reading, and then extensive reading is the pre-voluntary reading, and then extensive reading is a sustained silent reading, or pre-share reading, or develop reading ability to read fluently, confidently, and happily. The next one is recount. Uh, because in this research I have give to the participant is the sources are context. So what is context from the some sources here? Max Anderson and Kate Anderson 2003 state that context is the text that tell the reader about historical event typically in the order in which they occurred. And then no Pigas Nelly at all 2016. She mentioned that the contexts are a type of writing that educates the reader about the event and activities that happened in the someone experience in the past. Just using it through chronological also actually. And then the event can be understood from the reader. And then also Anderson said that context as serve of objective to giving the reader and a summary of what happened and when it happened. And the last one from the Sonia and Fisher 2016, the context is the purpose of the context is to inform and amuse the reader to relate historical event to reader or to amuse them. And then we talk about the discussion and result. This research is designed in a classroom action research, and then to gain the understanding of teaching and learning within one's classroom, and to use that knowledge to increase teaching efficiency or student learning. And then the research present the descriptive data. Oh, and then and the instrument of the collecting the data were test instrument and non-test instrument. Non-test instrument here consists of test, interview, and observation. There are two cycles I have the researchers done in this studies. This is the first cycles and then the second cycles. And also, it is done in the 11th class at SMIT Darul Hasan, Padang Sidimpuan. The total student of the total student get this treatment is to 36 students. Next one is how about the result of the test? From the first cycle, the test result of the first cycle. After you give the student some of the text after they read for the 1 week, so the result so like the the data below. This is of the how the student can identify the event, can identify the conclusion, and can identify the vocabulary, can identify the setting of the text, and then the character of the text. From the result, the student get the get the scores good, or I mean that it is of how to identify the character of the text, and then the next one is the test result from the second cycle on indicator achievement. The student get this several increasings in the test. It is from the 99 in identified event, it's rise to be to be 70% in identified event, and then it is also same with the AID. Identify conclusions, identify the vocabulary, identify the setting, and identify the characters. After we give them the first cycle, so also here the data, so that how the second cycle give the effect, or I mean that give the effect from the reading comprehension. After researchers give them some interview, some observation, and some tests. So they are find out they are found out some of the problem. It is of internal pictures and then in external pictures to give the effect for their reading comprehension. And then in this character, the problem is when they're addressing the questions, they were pressed for time. They feared wasting time on only the straightforward and uncomplicated questions. So the reason that is was merely a little issue. So here some solution that given for them is the first one is provided a second explanation of the character, and a student who are motivated to evaluate the character attentively and not just focus on important details, and then depending on the indicator provided a description of the question, then requested that they bring a dictionary. Actually in this identify the character, the student get the two problem. The second one is the kid where I mean the student were unaware the purpose of the training. And then the problem in the identifying the setting, the student they didn't truly read the entire text. They simply read the text in response to the one inquiry. The context frequently requires students to read the entire text in order to fully comprehend the text, since they are numerous setting names of the region, place, or time because they contain of event. And then they also thought that the sitting always on the first paragraph. And the solution from that problem, the researchers give explain again about the setting. Researchers ask students to identify the setting on the text. Researchers ask students to read not only about the question but also the whole text. Students know where or when it happened. And then the researchers classified to students that finding setting was not only on the first paragraph but also in the other paragraph. And then identifying the event. The teacher find that the student get a problem, lack the ability to distinguish between the first event, second event, and the last event. They only realize when the authors use extra some words such as a first event, second event, or last event. If the author use word like after that, then, and so on, the reader would become confused. And then also student get the problem uh, that they read not they read not clear. They are reading the text clearly, and then they just read like fast type or quickly, so they can get about even uh, regularly from the text. So here the researcher give the some solution. The researchers advise The researchers advise students to understand them and memorize the function of the word in the text. And then also the researchers give the motivation to the student in order they read the text clearly, seriously. If they and then they can get the events generally the events regularly from the text. And then identifying the conclusion from the text, the students still choose solution that were similar but confusing to them. They were instructed to read only a primary title of the text and concentrate on the conclusion to the passage. While doing that didn't matter in some situation, it didn't work that way in other. Student must once again think about that. So I think that as a student from the observation also, the student uh, read the text, the student concentrate the text based on this, they were answered from the some question and observation, but in fact they still don't understand clearly from the conclusion. They just get the last paragraph, the last text, I mean the last line from the text, and then they just say like this. They still can't to make uh, the conclusion comprehend. And also, some students still struggle with the language. Well, of course, is the biggest problem there because the struggle with the language. I think that's estimated Darul Hasan still new school in this in that town. So I think the languages is still need more and more increasing method and program there. So making it impossible for them to comprehend the text answer. For instance, the definition of interesting and pleasant or memorable. Actually, they happened with the text, but they are still struggle about the languages on and then the solution from this problem is uh the researchers give the explanation again more again about the conclusion, give them a more and example, and then give them example of the conclusion. Also the researchers gave the motivation about conclusion. uh, we can explain them, I mean that we can share the moral value, the learning value from the text. So they don't just read from the text and then to get the point from the text, but they can get the conclusion, can motivate them on get a new knowledge from the text. And then also the student give a student the researchers asked to bring the dictionary, and or maybe they can ask them we can the researcher ask them to bring the dictionary or encyclopedia to find the word they hard to understand about the word. Okay. So when we text about this, the percentage from the first cycle and the second cycle, that is up the chart below. This comparison mean score between first test and second test. There are the bit little differences. I mean that is almost 8% increase from the first cycle to the second cycle test. The first cycles reach until 71.92%, and the second cycle is 79 and 0.86%. So there are almost 8% get increase from the first cycle to the second cycle. And also the percentage below give more information to us about the result from the from the test or from and also from the interview that the student almost get the high and very high predicate. In the high predicate, the student get 25 student get the high predicate. It is 91% to 80%. This is the percentage of the total percentage is 69.44%. And also in a very high predicate, the student get almost consists of 11 students. It is the total percentage is 30.56%. So in the conclusion that SMA Darul Hasan Padang Sidimpuan grade 11 especially, the extensive reading improved students' reading comprehension. The mean score was 71.92. This means it's saying that 46.15% in the first cycle and rise in the second cycle until 80.96%. 96, I mean it is the same of 88.46% in the second cycle. It is possible to accept external variables like inspiration, distraction as information to use the restroom and napping in the classroom. So in the board word, we can say here that the ER extensive reading get in case the reading comprehension and SMA Terwawasan Kota Padang Selimpuan. Maybe it's my explanation and presentation about my paper. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.